advice of Tommy Franks and the early 80s DJs of hip-hop and throw your hands in the air like you just came from Nazareth. Single ladies jump in the Euphrates. Hey, thank you. Welcome back to the show. This is the only show that can actually take the energy out of 21-year-olds. We got that going for us. The rules of war. You know, what's going on? What do you guys, first of all, what do you think of this war so far? Do you think we're being good? Do you think we're being phony? Do you think we're being considerate?
We're being too good.
Yeah?
Yep. We have the firepower. We could have done it in 2 days, right?
Yes.
We could have. Now they're dressing up like civilians. They're dressing up like U.S. soldiers. What are they, like a wardrobe person over there? We should start dressing up like sheep. They sneak up on us. Bing, up close. Bing, right now.
I think we're in trouble because our strategy today changed because Saddam's got this force, the Fedayeen, the militia, and they're attacking us more than we thought. There's like thousands of them. It's like people who like my big fat Greek wedding. I don't know any of them personally, but apparently they're out there.
But you were damn proud to get that Fedayeen thing in too, weren't you?
Did I say it right? The Fedayeen,
yeah,
Colin.
Speak up, you. Energy. Energy. That's... Anybody else want to say anything about the war?
It's surprising to me, Colin.
Yes, Greg?
Yeah, baby.
It's surprising to me that people are shocked that the Iraqis are fighting dirty. You know, what do we expect? Like, these murderous rapists are actually not abiding by the Geneva Convention. Who expected that one?
Yeah. Wanda, you got some military background in the family?
Yeah, I mean, but it's war. You know, war is war, man. We supposed to kill them all before they kill us. You know.
Right.
We're the rules. I mean, it's like they don't send Judge Mills Lane out there to, you know, call fouls and stuff.
We're going to look like the bad guys no matter how this turns out.
Well,
so
there you go.
So if they're going to call us the bad guys, let's live up to our reputations.
Right.
Just don't do it in front of the cameras on CNN. I mean, seriously.
But they can't not do it in front of the cameras.
I know, they're everywhere. It's like cops.
You know.
Well, you got to abide by these rules. I mean, that's the whole point of them.
Oh, rules are for bowling, Greg. Come on.
That's a tough statement, fella.
Rules are for bowling, Nick.
Rules are for bowling,
I've
Greg.
said that. I've said it 1,000 times. But no, I mean, the Geneva Convention, it is a little surprising that these rules exist, where it's like, hey, you can blow each other to pieces, just don't put anybody on TV. You know, that seems a little weird. But on the other hand, you know, they work for both sides. And the whole point is you want to encourage people to surrender. You want them to be guaranteed of, safe treatment because you want them to put down their arms and surrender.
Sure, but then they're using even that. If you have Iraqi soldiers dressed like civilians pretending to surrender, or dressed like civilians, and we're abiding by the rules, then they shoot at Americans. They've killed a number of people that way.
That's not gonna work for long. I mean, it's, they're using they're using the fighting your big brother style of fighting, where you're like, I give, and then he lets go, and you punch him in the stomach, you know. But ultimately, in the long run, you only get your ass kicked worse.
Sure, in the long run, but the question is, who's our responsibility to? The greater good, or to the troops that we send over there? You know what I mean?
It's to the troops. But Iraq has to fight dirty. They got no weapons. You know, they got like rocks and silly string and rolled up newspaper. I mean, what are they going to do?
They put putty on the newspaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, you got to put yourself in their shoes. I mean, if you're, not that they're right, the thing is, but you're being invaded. You're fighting for your life. I mean, look at the way people feel in America about the Mexicans coming over here, and they're just armed with like dirty Ms. Pac-Man baseball hats. You know,
Ms. Pac-Man. Ms. Pac-Man.
But it's true, and the truth is, when you're in a fight, if you've ever been in a fight where somebody was bigger than you, it was like, okay, keep it fair. Keep it fair. The guy's already bigger than you. You're going to reach for like whatever's around to hit him with, you know?
No, that's if you're Irish and drunk, that's true. I think civilized people try to work out disputes verbally.
Yeah.
Or legally.
Yeah.
But the thing is, these people, they want to be liberated, right? I mean,
Yes,
that's the whole thing. We're supposed to be liberating them. If somebody comes to save you, you don't pop a cap in their ass. You know, oh, help me, help me.
Wait a minute. Your people do. Come on.
Somebody.
We don't get a chance. They get us first, man.
Bush says his new thing is to say that the Iraqi oil fields, we want to liberate them for the good of the Iraqi people.
Yes.
Now, that's right, because we have oil fields here in America, in Texas. I don't get any checks from Exxon. I'm still waiting for my payback.
That was spoken like a true Jew.
He takes that as a compliment.
Well, the term
I meant that as a compliment.
True Jewish person is how we say it in the 21st century, but that's okay.
What happened to your balls? You're like politically incorrect. You're coming on here being like milk toast. Come on, let's
Milk
get down.
toast.
My agent got to me.
There's another. Is that a Jewish name? Milk toast. All right.
Milk toast.
Y'all start talking about the Jews. I'm getting out of here. I got a show coming on. I ain't trying to. Y'all ain't saying nothing about no Jews now. Come on.
I spoke to...
Got a show premiere tonight.
And I don't.
Well, it's that one last Jewish reference. You think that's the way to win them over?
Absolutely.
You know, I think we need Nick to go see The Pianist. He might,
I saw The Pianist.
lighten
That
up
guy got Best Actor, and his nose should have got Best Supporting Actor. There you go. You expected it. I'm giving it to you.
Oh, my gosh.
You believe he would make such a stereotype that your people have big noses?
Why are you
That's
turning this
outrageous.
about me?
I actually look at Nick's career and totally believe it.
What about if Iraq does use the chemical weapons? Then do we call all bets
Yes, we pull our troops out. We make the French go in. We make them go.
Now, you heard the French were upset because they're, you know, we're not including them in the oil thing afterwards.
Can you imagine the balls on those idiots?
Les Bois.
Yeah.
Les
What's it called?
Les Bing.
you'd think a country cool enough to come up with that awesome maid uniform wouldn't be such pricks in every other way.
That's a good point. So basically what I'm saying is at this point, the only conflict is, are we sacrificing actual American soldiers' lives to do this correctly? And is that okay?
It's not okay.
Right.
Nobody wants to see anybody die, but the reality is if you're going to go to war, I mean, most of the lives so far have been lost in accidental shootings, and
Right.
you know, war is a dangerous thing. And you can't just justify, you can't say, look, we don't want to lose any lives, so let's just nuke the entire country.
You can't say that?
Well, can you?
Well, I'm saying that's
You
one
can
way to look
say
at
it, but you'd sound like a
One way to
moron.
look at
Why should we follow any rules when the UN don't follow their own rules?
When the UN don't, I think it doesn't.
Oh, please. I thought we were going to break. I was trying to rush
By the way, Dick, it's called
He's trying to say the
Operation.
syllable.
It's called Operation Iraqi Freedom, not Operation Rocky Balboa. I don't know if anyone told you.
Hey.
Fink's always had a mean streak in him. You don't play with Fink.
I know.
He seems nice, but when you get underneath
I'm
the
being
surface...
beat up by a banker.
The bottom line is, thank you.
That's cool.
If somebody's dressed like a show... This is my advice to the troops. If somebody's dressed like a soldier, don't shoot. It's probably a civilian. But if they're dressed like a civilian, shoot him. He's probably a soldier. That's the way to do it. We'll be right back.
Adrenaline. I miss waiting in line. No, I don't.
Oh, I know what'll help. A nice pick-me-up. When wars happen, do you notice there's mostly men up there on TV? The prime ministers, the presidents, the generals. If women were in charge, would this be happening like this? Wanda, why don't you start us off?
No, not at all. Women, it wouldn't be any wars if women were in charge.
You got to be.
I'm serious. We don't have time for all that nonsense, man. Out there in a desert fighting? Please. Nah, we sit there and talk about it, have some coffee, work it out.
Somebody tells you got a fat ass, you're ready to cut each other's throats. Come on.
But it's usually a man telling us that. Yeah.
I like back. You know.
Probably, you know, it
Again,
takes women
tension.
so damn long to get ready. By the time they figured out what boots to wear, the war would be over. People do say that. I don't think, I mean, people do think, well, men, it is testosterone that drives. I mean, men are more violent than women generally.
It is.
But women are getting more violent. Look at Muhammad Ali's daughter. She's an ass kicker, man. You see her fight?
Yeah. And Charlie's Angels, they're pretty badass.
Well, yeah. They do some good karate kicks, if that's what you're trying to say. But look at this thing the other day. Yeah, be honest, when I saw the hostages, the POWs, the one woman that's the hostage, you feel a little worse, like, oh my God, what's going to happen to her?
You really think that women shouldn't be allowed in the military at all?
Why are you looking at me? I never said that.
I'm just asking a question.
What the hell?
That's a question. Well, what do you think, Greg?
Well,
the old techniques.
I think that they are. They're obviously serving a valuable purpose. But I do think that in combat, it's just uncomfortable. People are bound to have relationships. You're bound to have sex with somebody. And then the next morning's always awkward enough at work without being crammed in a little tank together.
That's true. And I can easily see a woman shooting a guy. Well, I guess guys wouldn't really cheat in the war because there's not enough women around to cheat. But If they did cheat, can you see a woman turning that rifle and blowing his brains out faster than a guy would do?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So that's the other fictional problem that I'm creating right now. Let me ask you this. Here's the other question that's controversial. It has nothing to do with the war, but it has to do with men and women. Are men funnier than women? Wow.
I know what we should ask. I know what we should ask. Who? We should ask Ellen DeGeneres because she's both.
Shut up.
I think women don't work on it all. You know, women don't have to be funny to get laid. So that's a big part of it.
That's a good point.
It's really funny, but come on,
It's hilarious.
She's hilarious. But I mean, come on, Lucille Ball, Richard Pryor. I don't know.
I'm with Nick. That's true.
Thank you. Why don't you say it? Because they're not going to laugh.
Men find men funnier, and women find women and gay guys funnier. I think that's usually how it works.
No, I think, yeah, women just find it's funny is funny. I mean, you know, there aren't as many female comics out there as there are men comics. I think there are a lot of guys out there who suck. But it's just more you out there. So I guess percentage-wise, if you look at, you know, percentage of women who are funny, I think it'll be about the same as the
There's more of us out there
men
for
who are
a
funny.
reason. You go into a living knowing you're funny.
What was it?
Well, you heard me.
But comedy
I
There's more of them.
didn't understand what you said.
Well, comedy is an aggressive, you know, there is an aggressive thing about stand-up comedy. And there are women, you know, Rosie O'Donnell, Sandra Bernhardt, you know, Paula Poundstone. There are women who can be funny and still keep the feminine touches. But,
yeah, I mean, when a big, don't you feel it in an arena, in the atmosphere with the drinks and people screaming, you know, it's tougher if women are not raised to be that aggressive and hostile in front of a crowd.
I don't know. Rita Rudner did pretty good.
but also just becoming a comic, it takes so long. It's such a nightmare. You know, it's just not. It's often unsafe. It's you know, you're on the road. You don't want to be standing on a milk crate in some sports bar getting thrown at you if you're a woman.
Now, do you find
as a man, I enjoyed it. But
do a lot of comedians hit on you when you were a female comic coming up? Take advantage of, you know, the innocence and the youth? Okay, I guess I can answer
Other
that.
than you?
But, I didn't know you in the early days. You're lucky.
I think what men and women comics have in common is that if they really believe in the craft of it, they work really hard versus someone who just comes from an MTV game show and gets a career without any preparation.
I guess it's all just like Northern Ireland, Hugh, as we discussed before. You know, it started a long time before any of us were here. It's never going to end. So you just try to drink your way through it, right? I guess I should have said the relationships are just like that. Well, let me tell you something. I don't give a damn. They're going to be like, hey, guys, we're going to put that show maybe in May or in when we come back, me and Wanda are going to straighten a few things out.
On the next day.
Whoa! Thank you, folks. Ah, your faith is inspiring. Tonight I have a little battle of the sexes, so we brought out Wanda Sykes, who has a new show, by the way, tonight on Fox. Wanda at Large. Now, Wanda, I know you have this new show coming on.
Yes.
I don't see my part yet. What's going on there? On a phone call or what's up?
Yeah, you didn't get the call?
I didn't get the call.
I had my people call your people.
I was thinking I could play one of those
My people said your people were busy. You got busy people.
Yeah. I was thinking I could play kind of like this straight, like you're not sure what country I'm from, but like gay neighbor, where I'm like, Wanda, you're a crazy, always starting trouble down the block with all these problems. You know, like kind of a thing, a little thing where I do a different thing, you know? What do you think?
That's refreshing. I haven't seen that character on TV.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, it's more of a bigger than a Will and Grace thing. This is more like me. You saw the physical thing I'm doing already?
Right.
I'm not even at rehearsal yet.
Right.
I'm just screwing around, and I'm already like halfway there. I've written down some statements that I've always wanted a woman to say, and Wanda has agreed to read them as she's written down some things she's always wanted to hear a man say. Finally, we're going to get this out in the open. Ready? I'll be glad to go first if you hand me one of those lovely cards.
There you go.
Oh,
Try that
thank
one
you
out.
so much.
There you go.
2/3 of all my decisions in life have something to do with getting laid. I know every guy's like, hey, she went low on the percentage. All right, I know. They still don't know how horribly we are. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I guess the dumbest thing about us is that for all our intuition and no matter how much empirical evidence there is that a guy is an asshole, Women trust their heart more than a man's actions.
Thank you. It hurts, girls, doesn't it? Oh, you're starting to pick and choose on these.
Yeah, yeah.
Shuffle
All
it.
right, do that.
All right.
Spit it out.
The sexiest thing about a woman is her brain. I pretend to be obsessed with young breasts and long legs so Nick and Greg don't think I'm gay. Right, the old jugular, is that it? Okay. What do you think of that little insight?
Oh, you're hurting me here. I accept the fact that men are not interested in discussing and analyzing every aspect and angle of a relationship because it is actually boring and repetitive.
I'll save that one for you. I'm going to put it on the refrigerator. All right. My obsession with lesbians is really just a cover for my desperate fear of intimacy.
The ultimate